Right, I want a video today on something I guess which I'm hoping to add a bit of value. So I recently attended a round table with some manufacturers, leaders and senior people at various manufacturing businesses in the UK, in particular in the North East, and we discussed various challenges they were having and had over the last 12 months. Probably right at the top of the list was retention and recruitment. I wanted to talk about a little bit about what our clients have done to essentially really help those problems and those challenges that people have come across over the last 12 months. So I think for me right at the top of this would be to concentrate on retention rather than recruitment. I guess a perfect storm has led to where we are today. I've been recruiting for 16, 17 years now, and I've never seen recruitment so challenging. There's a skill shortage in manufacturing. It has been for a while, and I think a number of reasons have led to that magnifying, I guess, over the last, particularly the last 6 months. As I say, it's been a perfect storm. We've had COVID, which has really sort of made things a lot more difficult. Still, the last poll we did proved that still a third of people in the marketplace who are nervous to move because of what happened over COVID. That's a big chunk of the market already gone. We've had an ageing workforce in manufacturing engineering for a while now. We had a record number of people retire over lockdown, over COVID, which essentially has meant not enough people are replacing them. A lot of good skills simply walking out the door. That's caused a big problem. Also, during COVID, initially what happened is a lot of people let people go. And obviously, unfortunately, that has meant to everyone hiring at the same time when people have come out of the pandemic. So this has made a really difficult marketplace, which hopefully makes you feel that you're not alone and people are having the same sort of challenges. When I say concentrate on retention more than recruitment, I think it's very important because essentially that solves the first problem, it helps to solve that first problem. Look at your staff you've got now. It's much more expensive, much more of a cost losing key members of staff than it is not replacing new people. Do not lose your key members of staff. Make sure they are happy. Do everything you possibly can do to make sure that your office and your house is in order before you start to bring the people in. Naturally, what happens is once you start to do that, it becomes a better environment for people coming into the new business. Really important now to concentrate on culture. Culture's never been more important. Again, people have come out of COVID with a bit of a different mindset. They expect more. They expect a work-life balance. They expect all these things that probably didn't come to and they didn't think about before COVID, they now are. So really important to understand staff happiness. I would advise doing this personally, ideally doing some form of pre-exit interviews. There's no point in waiting right to the end to people leave the business to find out that actually some of the things could be fixed right now. Trying possible to do that as anonymously as possible, or create a safe environment where people feel they can be honest and open about any challenges they're coming up against. Once you've done that, make sure that you're also looking at the reasons why people work for your business. Why do people love it? Why do people, why has Jeff stayed there for 50 years? Really work out why people have stayed in your business for a long time and what you're doing right, because that is as important as what you're doing wrong, because you can massively double down on that and sell that as a business. So that's retention, and really look at your culture. Make sure that your house is in order before you do anything else. Flexible working. This is something obviously that we never really thought about before COVID, but now it is pretty much a prerequisite for a lot of people in a new job. It's not always possible. It is not always possible, particularly in manufacturing engineering, to have flexible working schemes. If you work inside a factory and you work on a factory floor as part of your job, it might be impossible. You can only control what you can control, and that's the same when I talk about salary. If you can up your salary within reason, and try and make sure that obviously it's parity with people in the business, and that's what we've seen a lot of people do. We've seen massive upsurge in salary. We did some research, and anywhere between 8 and 15% across the board, which we're happy to send across, have a look at. That's pretty big, particularly in the short space of time, which has obviously caused a lot of headaches for a lot of employers. It's not always possible. Not every single firm can afford to go, right, there's a 10, there's a 15% raise. So control what you can. So that means look at flexible working you can do. Look at trying to change people patterns so they have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more autonomy in their workplace. Look at training qualifications. Staff are an investment, and they want to be seen to be an investment and feel like an investment. Look at what qualifications you can put them through. That might be internally, that might be externally. Invest in them, and you will get rewarded with loyalty. And we've seen that in bags. We've seen a lot of people come to us wanting to leave businesses because they're not invested in and they're seen as a short-term gain for the business. Have a look at what you can control. These things don't always have to cost money. You can get often grants for this type of stuff, so really leverage as much as you possibly can do for that. Once you've done that, look at your shop window. Again, I think this is something I've seen a lot of clients do more and more over the last sort of 9 months. Use your channels to sell your business and make it look as attractive as possible for outside looking in. Manufacturing and engineering firms, typically, historically, we don't see much of them unless you're in there. Use social media, use your free tools. Try and get someone in who is a professional to train your staff on personal branding on LinkedIn. Ideally, again, look at someone you can get into market your business. We've seen some amazing stuff over the last sort of 3 to 6 months in particular, I would say, where companies have really sort of doubled down their marketing. They've actually opened the doors up to people coming to have a look around the factory, to show schools around the factory, to have videos, to see pictures, to really sort of sell the business. And I think, most manufacturing firms are so attractive and so fascinating for people to see. You don't often see that, and I'm seeing more and more of that. So make sure that your website is updated. Your website is as good as it possibly can do with the budget you've got, and your social media channels, which are often free, are utilised. There's updates going out there. Your main staff, or as many as possible, your staff are posting content and showing the world, because you can still stand out from not that much of a crowded marketplace in my eyes in manufacturing. There's still time to be very different and make sure that a potential candidate, is going to look at your business before anyone else's. And once you've done that, obviously you've already got your house in order, based on what I've talked about. It is hard out there. It's very tricky out there, and there is a shortage. So let's make sure we're doing everything we possibly can do to find good staff. If there's anything we can help with, we're doing a lot more consultancy now in terms of coming in, talking to people about process interview-wise, coming in doing presentations about LinkedIn and social media, ways you can look at culture. We've got some free tools that obviously we'll be looking for our clients, and ways you can do that and assess staff happiness. But look, I hope that helps. Any feedback, most appreciated. Thank you.